Today, we're taking a look at the Shogun from Bread and Butter. What's up guys? If you've watched my channel before, you know that I love Bread and Butter. They always have such a good blend of design, quality, and performance. And the Shogun is their latest paddle, and it's no exception. The Shogun has received a ton of hype for good reason, and Bread and Butter is continuously sold out of all of their pre-orders. But if you're unfamiliar with the Shogun, it's a traditional elongated shape, very similar to the Filth from Bread and Butter, as well as the Legacy Pro, Vatic V7, Carbon 1X, and other similar paddles. It has great build quality and a good handle, but the big feature is the carbon and titanium blend face. And I personally think that makes this paddle the best looking paddle I've ever seen. The way the titanium catches the light, especially when playing outdoors, and of course, Bread and Butter always kills it with the graphics and design. But the real question is, how does it play? The two words that I would use to describe the play style of this paddle is dynamic and springy. And I think that this paddle is a perfect example of a true all-court paddle. If you're familiar with Bread and Butter paddles, I feel like this paddle's playing characteristics sit right in between the Filth and the Loco. It has the shape, power, and swing weight of the Filth, while having a more plush and springy feeling face like the Loco. I find that the springiness from the titanium blend face gives this paddle a super unique blend of power, pop, and control. The power on this paddle is really solid. I find that it pockets the ball and has a good trampoline sensation that really launches the ball off the paddle face. Of course, this paddle is nowhere near as powerful as Gen 3 paddles, like the Yola Gen 3s, Gearbox Pro Power, or Vaticonis. But for a classic Gen 2 thermoformed, it does have plenty of power. The titanium face that gives this paddle a springy feel feels soft, but still generates a ton of pop. I was consistently surprised at how fast the ball was coming off the paddle face when I was doing speed ups and hands paddles at the kitchen. The springiness of this paddle does mean that control takes a bit of time to dial in. Because this paddle has a deceptive amount of pop, it was leading to a lot of pop-ups and bad third shot drops. But after a few games, I was able to get used to the paddle and its poppiness and use it to my advantage. I found that once I had this paddle dialed in, control shots felt effortless. Dinking and resetting with this paddle felt really good, and I was actually complimented on my third shot drops, which is a rarity. All of that combined gives this paddle a super unique feel and makes it one of the best all-around paddles in my opinion. It's definitely a feel that I've really grown to love, and I think it has some really unique benefits over traditional carbon fiber. And it actually reminds me a bit of the strings of a tennis racket, the way it springs and pockets the ball. So if you're coming from a tennis background, you might really enjoy that about this paddle. Also, due to the springiness and pocketing that this paddle does, I've seen it recommended as a solid Gen 3 alternative. Of course, you're not going to get the top end power that you get from those paddles, but you do get significantly better control and a construction method that's more tried and true, as well as no worries about it being banned. As I mentioned in the beginning, this paddle has had a ton of hype, and for good reason. It's been consistently sold out ever since it launched. However, Bread and Butter has made it known that the paddle will be going permanently in stock in the near future. These paddles retail for $189.99, but if you use discount code SCOOTER, that takes off 15%, bringing it down to about $162. Bread and Butter also offers a 30-day love it or return it policy, so if you have any issues with the paddle or just find that it's not the right fit for you, there's no risk in trying it out. Overall, I'm super excited with what Bread and Butter is doing and the way they're heading. I know they've got a lot of great paddles on the market already and more interesting stuff in the works. The Fat Boy is coming soon, and I'll have a review for it when it launches. And I just saw them announce that they're reworking the Loco for a V2, so I'm super excited to see what they do with that. As always, leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Like and subscribe to the channel. It helps a ton. Stay tuned. I have more reviews coming soon.